everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Dance Talk Realness, a podcast where we discuss all nuances concerning education and dance, because a dance experience is an experience worth talking about. I'm your host, Truly B, and I'm joined by my awesome, as always, co-host, Darryl P. Hey. And Happy New Year!
Yes!
Survival!
Oh my gosh. We did it.
Yes. It's like, so thankful.
Yes.
So thankful.
Oh.
All right. So today we're going to be talking about our dance-ish resolutions. We can talk about other ones also, but you know, it's a dance podcast. We try to wrap it in somehow. Yeah. And for this month, or a couple months, we're going to see how I feel in February, y'all. But for this month, kicking off a new year, I do have a quote. And it is from Gail Sheehy. And she says, if we don't change, we don't grow. If we don't grow, we aren't really living. And I just felt that that was the greatest quote to not only end me trying to find these quotes every single week, number one, but also to usher in a new year and to have this conversation around our resolutions. Mm-hmm. So I posted on the Facebook calling on all dance fam and asking what were some resolutions, goals, or positive intentions towards their dance self that they were setting for this coming year. And they were told that they could be to benefit them personally, the field at large, or anywhere in between. Mm-hmm. So before Darryl and I go into some of ours, I want to shout out the people who participated. I guess this was technically a survey. I don't like doing surveys. It feels weird. It feels so scientific.
Yeah. Come on, research.
Right? So, do you know Rachel? She teaches in the county. She doesn't teach dance. She's a dancer. She used to teach dance in the county, and then she left. And now she teaches like reading. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she left before you came.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's the first person who responded. Mm-hmm. Hey, Rachel. Thanks, Bill. All right. So, she has her goal is to just get into the studio for training. That spoke to my spirit. I too miss dancing with other bodies because it is, and I am genuinely hopeful that we will be able to have even more opportunities to be in this space again. Even though we have, of course, been able to continue instruction via Zoom and all of that. And, you know, for the most part, we've been successful. We've adapted. But to me, nothing will ever replace just being in the space with other dancers and really being able to feed off of each other's energy. So 100% agree with her. Mm-hmm. Colleague, Rebecca Lillich. She went to Hollins with me. So yay, shout out Hollins NFA program. So she actually was like, she has a lot. And so she wanted to kind of narrow down. Mm-hmm. But something that she said was, and that really kind of got me thinking even more so about this after I said it, was, you know, like around the fact that I even asked this specific question, because, you know, people ask you like, what are your resolutions? But as artists, I think having that like opening up that dialogue artistically is equally important. I know a lot of people who don't, like when they think of resolutions, it's like, oh, I'm gonna lose weight, I'm gonna be more organized. Mm-hmm. And like they name all these other things that aren't feeding them artistically. Mm-hmm. In fact, most artists that I've spoken to, that if I've ever heard their resolutions, very rarely was anyone saying anything pertaining to the artist side of themselves. Mm-hmm. So Yay for opening dialogues.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Candace, you know Candace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hers is a fancy one. Her goal is to have an at-home dance studio space.
Oh.
And I was like, yes, sis.
Yes.
If someone wants to be so kind as to bless me with the finances, I would like one too.
A portable bar.
And see, if y'all listened to us when we were listing off things that were great gifts for dancers, this is why, because real talk, real dancers, real dance educators are out here like, but can I have this space in my home?
Right.
So I can be the optimal dancer I can be.
Right.
Y'all should like gift us these things. Just saying. Or contribute. You know, either way, we take donations.
Right.
Yes.
Also.
One of my favorite people ever, and she is like one of the people who she is one of our biggest fans, and we at Dance Talk Realness, thank you, Miss Allison. Also, she's from Michigan, and let me tell you, I love her. Met her at Holland. Love her primarily because she's from Flint, and she will clarify to people, I am from Flint, not Detroit. Flint. We're not the same place. And I'm like, thank you. So many people be about that business of, oh yeah, you know, I'm from Metro Detroit. And I'm like, nigga, you ain't from Detroit. You're not. You're not. You're from Livonia. You're from Southfield, Redford. What? Where you're not from, though, is Detroit proper. Don't do that. Don't do that. So I've always loved her for that. That she'd be like, I'm from Flint. We are our own city. We have our own things. So I've always loved her for that. Allison had 3 that she came up with that I was like, yes, I love these. Her first was to be more intentional about training on her own, since in Michigan, the studios are shut down again. To put more work into social media for both her company, Vertical Ambition Dance Company. Follow them. They're on the book and they are also on the gram. Follow them. They are amazing. And also to put in more work for the social media for her studio, Fly City Studios. That's FLI-City Studios. Also on the book, on the gram. Follow them. When I tell you, amazing, amazing. And her last was to make her visions a reality by finishing in-progress projects and making more dance for the camera, since performance is out of the question for the foreseeable future. That one was so real. Because I'm like, man, most people I know have at least a thing that's in progress still. That there's like, oh, I'm going to come back to it. Oh, well, I have to handle this first. I'm going to get back to this. And I'm like, yes, prioritizing. You know what? I'm going to stop coming back to this. I'm going to just do this thing. I'm going to get it done. Yeah. And then we now have another project we can say we've completed. So I loved it. Next, we have Keisha, who also, a lot of my Hollins fam came through. So shout out. Hey. So Keisha says she's looking forward to diving deeper into research. And her research, more specifically, traditional cultural dances and technology, Black feminism in the West and abroad, and testing cultural humility in students. I know smart people. Yeah. I'd be like, I don't know how I'll be hanging with y'all, but okay. I love it. And she also wants to dive deeper into interdisciplinary collaborations, specifically human services and dance, which I think is a really awesome combination. There's so many ways that I already know that can overlap. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing when she comes up with that. And of course, creating dope new works. And I'm like, yes, sis. Another amazing dancer and choreographer. So I love the people that I know. Next we have Camille. I'm so sure you know Camille. I am so sure you do. She's in Baltimore. Yeah. Yes, I'm like, you know her. Yeah. Okay, so Camille had 2. And so her first one is to go back to school and get an MFA. So she can aid in decolonizing dance education in higher ed. Yeah. Come through, sis.
Yes.
Yes, I am here for it. And her second is to create more work and to dance more, which in my spirit, feel that. Like every time someone says something along those lines, I'm like, yes, create, finish projects, be in spaces. Yes, I'm here for it. You also know Gabby. Gabrielle's her like real name, but Gabby. Hers is to diversify the resources offered to my students, as well as reflect even further on the equity of my teaching practices. So I 100% appreciated that, because so many more people, that needs to be their goal.
Yeah.
So many more people need to really be like, let me reflect on me and what changes I need to make to benefit my students. More people. Hint, hint, wink, wink. People do better.
Right.
I don't know if you know Silvana. I met her in DC years ago. Wow, I've known her for a while. Wow. I be forgetting I actually do know people sometimes. I'm like, oh no, but I've known you.
Yeah.
Right, so, let's see. She plans to compile a CD of her choreographic work and performances, create programs for youth and teachers, and she would also like to study massage or, I'm gonna say this wrong, ESTHETICIAN. I know what it means, but I can't say it. What I want to say is aesthetic, and that's not what this word is.
What is it?
ESTHE, esthetician. There we go. On the first try. Don't ask me to say it again.
Yes.
That's all we had.
I was like, I think it's esthetician.
That's all I had that one go. That was it. That took a lot out of my spirit to get it right that once. Child, look, let me tell you, I was that kid. I always loved reading, but I always read to myself. So reading out loud, I'd be like, do I know words?
Right.
I know words. I just don't know how to say them. Like, I don't know how to make my mouth do that thing, but things that we learn. I definitely feel her on trying to compile, like having all of my choreographic works and performances in one place. My shit is scattered. And I'm like, I need to get on top of that, because it makes life so much easier. Like when you're like, oh, I'm applying for this grant, or I'm like offering a service at this institution, to just have one place to go to be like, okay, here are some examples of my work.
Right.
And my crap is everywhere. So I definitely feel that. Creating programs for youth and teachers, I'm always down for the cause. I'm here for that. I be saying I want to be a masseuse, but I'm lazy. No, I don't. I'm like, my hands hurt. You gonna get 5 good minutes out of me.
Start getting the elbow.
Yes.
Like, I didn't want you to go that deep. Well, my hands hurt. That's
well, we're here now. We're going to be in this spot. So, yes. So, I shouldn't be a masseuse at all. I wouldn't make enough money to survive, because 5 minutes in, I'm done tapping out. Next. Okay. KJ Holmes, one of my professors from Hollins. Yeah. When I tell you Hollins came through, they came through for me. Love her. Number one, she pushed me in one of her classes. It was so stressful because I always struggle with partnering when I'm not the person that's lifting. Oh, right. I've been like, I don't trust any of you. Like, I trust me to not let someone fall.
Right. Like,
if I'm losing my grip on you, I'm either going to figure out how to get you down safely, or I will make sure I break your fall. I trust me. I don't trust nobody to do that. I'm like, I got too much hip for this, sis. You're not going to catch me. We already know. And I would love to not slam into a floor today, tomorrow, any day.
Right.
So she kept making me partner with her. And let me tell you about KJ. KJ is a tiny woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like this big, this tall, and was like, come on, I got you. And I'm like,
no, you don't.
no, you don't. I was so stressed in that class. And I would try to like improv myself to another area in the room and she would find me. And I'm like, yo, she is like legit about this business right now and I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
But then she did have me and she was like, I told you. And I'm like, I refuse to acknowledge this. Drove me crazy in that class. Love her though. But oh my God, that was rough. But I definitely took that with me into my teaching. And I would do that to students all the time that I'm like, no, they got you. Like, they got you. They know what to do. Mm-hmm. They got you. And they're like, Ms. Bennett, no, they ain't got me. And I'm like, they got you though. I'm going to keep pairing y'all up till you let them do it. So,
yeah.
And eventually, you know, there were a couple times that it did not pan out. And I was like, yikes, my bad. But solid 90 to 95% of the time, scientifically it's possible.
Right.
You just have to find that sweet spot, that point of balance. You just got to find that, and then it works. But KJ says, I lost my spot. There we are. She's doing a retreat in January to compile writings and maps for New York, sourcing over unfinished work and recreating a duet from 91. Yes, 91. The 90s still feel like yesterday to me. And I'm like, y'all, we've been up out of the 90s for a brick. Wow. Yeah. But recreating a duet from 91 with a friend on Zoom using old video in real time, which sounds really freaking cool.
Yeah.
She's finishing up some studies, continuing to research into both earth and sky lenses and holding space where she can best be of service as a teacher, an artist, and a human. And that sentence right there sums up KJ, that she was by far one of the most selfless people that I've ever met. And it's like, you know, when you run across someone like that and they're genuinely like that you know immediately that you're like, oh, but you actually really do care. Like, some people you're like, oh yeah, I know if it came down to it, you throw me into the burning building, let alone you wouldn't drag me out. But she is just so loving and always trying to figure out different ways to make sure she is of service. And that also, and I can definitely speak to this from the student perspective, that she's always making sure that as a student, not only do you have the knowledge and understand it, but are you comfortable with it? Yeah. And by comfortable, not necessarily like, yes, I enjoy this, but like, yeah, no, I understand. Like, I got it. Yeah. To this day, I will always hate people lifting me. I will always hate that. I'm good off of it. But I am comfortable with the concept, the mechanics, the ways to come in and out of that type of movement because of people like KJ. Yeah. All right. Next, you know her. If you have listened to this podcast for any amount of time, you know who I'm talking about because I be throwing her name in here all the time. So Marcina. Yeah. So she says that she wants to be more intentional with teaching students about the contributions and success of African Americans in dance as a whole. And after how 2020 went, to be more appreciative about being in the actual studio teaching. Child, let me tell you how quick I was like, oh, all the times I was like, man, I want to go home. I was like, okay, but for real though, can I actually teach in the studio? Like, I want to go home, but I don't want to go home this much. Like, not like this. This is not what I meant when I said, I'm tired, I want to go home. Right. I just meant, could I go home for a little bit? But I still come here to teach. And so that 100%. And I think more people similar to earlier with Gabby's, more people need to be more intentional about teaching about the contributions of African Americans to dance. Right. We got more than Ailey. We've got more than Copeland. Teach more than those.
Right.
Just saying. Just a kind-hearted suggestion.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a smidge. All right. You might know Liz. She was in Anne Arundel County for a while. She just left like a couple years ago.
Maybe, yeah.
You might know her. I think if I show you her picture later, you'll know who I'm talking about. Well, her goals, of which I'm so proud, complete her MFA, and she'll be completing it at Hollins.
Yeah.
I know. I'm telling you, Hollins be coming through. This one I loved. To stop resisting and embrace dance for the camera and other virtual platforms that the arts will need to survive. Because yes, I struggle with that a lot. I'd be like, I give you basics on camera, but what? Past that? And that's a true statement. We do need to accept it. And not necessarily that you have to become proficient in it, but accept.
Yeah.
And at least have a general working knowledge, I think, would be the most beneficial thing. And her third was to continue to decolonize her teaching practices and the organization she directs. And I was like, yes, some people out here doing the work. Yes, I appreciate it. Okay, we have two more. One is from Quinn. You know Quinn. Man, I love her. She's just awesome for no good cause. Like, good gracious. So I love this first thing she has because yes. Actually, I love both of these things because yes. On her list is authentic self-care time without feeling guilty about taking time for herself. Say a word.
Say it again. I need to hear that again.
To take authentic self-care time without feeling guilty about taking time for yourself. Yes. I hate that people really try to make self-care seem like you're being selfish. And sometimes it'll be the same folks who in the next breath will say, well, if you don't take care of yourself, then how are you going to pour into someone else? Or if you don't take care of your health now, then you're going to take care of your sickness later. Then let me take care of it.
Right.
How about that? You can't tell me to take care of it and then you don't let me, or you be mad that I take care of it. Like, we can't do both of these things. Right. Oh, self-care is so important to me. Self-care Fridays, that's my thing. Right. Yeah. Like, even my kids know. Like, they were like, today's Friday. Self-care Friday. And I'm like, yup, self-care Friday. I'm going to see y'all when I see y'all because I'm about to go do some self-care. And her second, also great, is to practice saying no more. Man.
Hear both of these today.
Thank you. Right? Like Quinn came through.
Yes.
I was like, yes, practice it because I think
I think in order to get that authentic self-care without feeling guilty, you got to say no to people.
You
have to say no.
Preach a whole word there.
And if you can't say no, then you will always feel guilty for taking it because
Yes. That needs to be like, I need this just posted up on a wall somewhere because I'm like, say no more. Like, and it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
They'd be all right.
Right.
I mean, unless someone's gonna die, like if the princess ate peanuts and it was like, hey, mommy, I need you to take me to the hospital. And I'm like, no. That's not.
Yeah, no.
That's a yes. It doesn't matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Go save this baby's life.
Right.
Which, side note, definitely like a few weeks ago gave her something. It didn't have peanuts in it, but it must have been made in a plant where peanuts were being processed.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Woo, child. She thinks she's like spit it out like immediately.
Because
Like,
she could taste it.
she was chewing, and as she was chewing, her mouth started itching.
Oh, she's like,
And I was like, because next thing you know is you see her running to the bathroom, and then you hear water, and you hear her gagging, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And it was turtles, the little candy. And I'm like, I love those. They're delicious. And she asked for one of mine. And I was like, first of all. But then I was like, okay, here. Because it doesn't have peanuts in it.
It doesn't? I thought they did.
Pecans.
Oh.
And so what we've learned, she cannot eat those.
Okay.
But if you just had like regular pecans by themselves, she can eat those. She can eat almonds. But I guess it was because clearly they're made in a factory. So they probably came in contact with something. But child, I was like, oh, geez. Whew, it was rough. But she's good. She's good. She's fine.
Okay.
Alive and well. She's good.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking.
Now I'm just thinking, can she not eat Chick-fil-A? Because Chick-fil-A is made in like peanut oil.
So what I've learned is apparently some people that have the allergy can, but they have to eat it when it's hot. I don't know what it is that the temperature does to it, but the temperature does something. Like the level of heat is enough.
While eating it.
Yeah, it has to be hot. Like, because she eats Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
But does she eat those fries often, though? I don't think she eats the fries often.
Okay.
But she has eaten them and not had a reaction.
Yeah.
But she's never had them cold.
Right.
Like, so it's like if she eating Chick-fil-A, then we took her to Chick-fil-A. Right. It's not like, oh, I went and picked it up earlier. Here you go.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, I still had to be hot. Same with Five Guys, but I feel like I may not have let her eat those fries. Because I was like, sis, there's too. This is soaking in all the peanut oil. No, ma'am. I don't even like taking her in there because they have like the huge things of peanuts, and I'm just like, we don't want no smoke. Like, just tell me what you want up out of here, and we'll just get that for you. Right. Like, it's cool, it's fine. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's weird. It's something with the temperature. Is that? But I know as long as it's been hot, she's never had an issue. Yeah. But I know she also don't be messing with nobody's fries like that either. She'd be like, no, that's okay. And I'm like, that's fair. Yeah. Like, I love that she's now old enough to be way more proactive. Because she'll tell you in a quick second that she's allergic. And she will also tell you immediately if something feels wrong. Yeah. She'd be like, She's like, my throat. And I'm like, sis, go get some water. Like, don't do that. You know, it just be so rough with her because I'm like, she has actually quite a few allergies, is what we've been learning. It's just been adding to the list. I think pineapple's on there now. And I'm like, that's weird, but okay. We won't give you that. Right. It was something else that I was like, it was something very odd. And I need to ask her because I need to write that down for real. But it was something that she was like, she kept just doing that, like just kept opening and closing her mouth. And I'm like, are you good? She's like, it itches. I don't think I should eat this. And I'm like, put it on the list. Yeah. We need you to be alive. Yeah. So, but yes. I don't know how we got that from saying no more. Oh yeah, because I was like, I wouldn't say no to that. Yeah, right. But she's just like, I want to go to Five Below. No, I'm doing something. Yeah. So, tie back. Yes. And our last one is from one of my babies, Carla. She's the one who I always brag about that. I'm like, she was one of the students that I'm like, you know what, if I ever have to name like one student who I at least know for a fact I made a difference in their life, she's the one. Yeah. And not in a like conceited or she owes me anything, because sis worked. She worked her tail off for everything she has. Yeah. But just more so of if I'm ever in a place where I'm just like, why do I even do this anymore? That's what I think of. And I'm like, that's why. Because if I only get another Carla every blue moon, then at least I know I've helped these people.
Right.
So my baby said that she wants to get back on track with cross training and keep growing her skills in Latin dance,
Mm-hmm.
of which she started a YouTube channel. I need to pull it back up so I can like plug it correctly for her.
Yeah.
And she says to benefit the field at large, she hopes to provide at least 5 on-camera performance opportunities in 2021
Mm-hmm.
and dance choreography tutorials on her YouTube channel.
Oh, nice.
So I'm like, that baby. Oh, it's like I'm a proud mommy. I'm like, oh, she's like such an adult. And she's been like working. Like, I know I just saw like in December, I saw a video. She was performing in it, but she was also the choreographer, and it was really cool. Yeah, I need to find the link and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But it's just like, I'm so proud. Proud. But she's a perfect example of somebody really trying to embrace that marriage of dance and technology. Mm-hmm. We just kind of have to at this point. Yeah. Definitely for the foreseeable future. But even moving forward, like even when we're able to be more in the space, I think now that this has been opened up so much, like dealing with technology, that it wouldn't make sense to completely put it all the way on the back burner. Like, right. I think from this point, we just have to keep expanding and keep growing with it.
Yeah.
All right. So those are all the people who we had. So, Darryl, what are some of your dance goals, aspirations?
Oh, I think for this next year, for 2021, I want to, what's been really cool is that I've been able to offer some former students some dancing opportunities outside of school, like employed opportunities. So I want to continue to do that and find venues or find online avenues for like my former students who, you know, some have aspirations to dance in college and that's what they want to do. Some maybe not, but like still enjoy it and are really good at it, to like kind of keep them moving. So I want to definitely continue to kind of carry that from 2020, carry that into 2021. And I think even for myself, like I want to create more in 2021. And I just want to still cleanse like both of them, like both of the things. I'm just like, yeah, because I also think in that saying no, in that authentic self-care that I don't feel guilty about, like I think that still will free up chances for me to do some of the things that I want to do. But I find that because I don't say no a lot, I lose a lot of my own time to do certain things, and that's including, you know, obviously the authentic self-care, but maybe because I really enjoy, I mean, I'm sure we all do, I really enjoy what I do, but I don't like when doing something dance related starts to feel too much like work and a chore.
I agree.
You know what I mean? It's like I still want to enjoy doing this, and I do enjoy doing it. I guess I just have to really find that healthy balance of being performer, choreographer, and teacher, really. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yes. I can't, man, I cannot agree with you enough on the authentic self-care. Like Quinn came through and saying no. I've gotten better. I would say 2020 at least did that for me. I definitely got better at saying no and really enforcing my self-care Fridays. Mm-hmm. Because folks will tell you, like, I don't be playing about Friday. Like, I'm like, I won't schedule anything on Friday if I can avoid it. And if I do, I am not pleasant because I'm like, you're eating up my self-care day. And I'm like, yes, in theory, at some point in the very near future, like once this next semester starts, I'm probably going to have to like eat some of that because it's too many things that are going to be due. But I think being very clear and direct on the fact that I'm like, yeah, but no, this time is mine. No, you may not infringe upon it.
Right.
No, you may not join me. Do not call me. Do not text me lest you dying. This is for me. And whatever that self-care looks like for you, I think it's also important to just acknowledge that do what you need to do. Like self-care is about you, not what you think you should be doing or like, oh, well, so-and-so does this. And so maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. It's like, no, do what you need. Usually for real, most of the time my self-care days, I just go to the park. I just be sitting there. Like, especially when the weather's nice, child, I just be sitting at the park. I'll go get something to eat and then go sit at a different park. I just be trying not to be in the house. For real. I just be out. I'll go sit in the parking lot. I will sit in the parking lot of Target. I won't go in because the amount of money I would spend would not be self-care. That would be self-harm.
Right.
And let me not. Because I would be in a position if I kept going in the Target. Yeah. But yeah, sometimes I'll go see a friend. Like, Marcina let you know, I've hung out at her house on Fridays before. And I'm like, hey, I'm just here. I'm like, I don't know. You ain't got to feed me for real, but you can. Yeah. I'll eat. Like, that's fine too. I like drinks. Let's do that. But yeah, a lot of times I just be, and what's funny is I think my family thinks I'm like out gallivanting about the world and doing all these things. And I'm like, I'm legit just sitting at the park by myself. Yeah. I might go to Starbucks and get a coffee and go back to sitting by myself in the quiet because that's what I need. I can scroll through Facebook, Instagram, play some games on my phone and just be by myself. Yeah. And it'd be quiet and I love it. Yeah. Another thing is I will sleep. I like to sleep. Sleep is nice.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that you need for yourself and that you're able to do it. Darryl and I have both spoken about, because I definitely hyped this up for so long, but just get a room and be gone for a couple of days. If you can. If you cannot, then you find ways to get yourself as close to that experience as possible. Hence, I will go sit at a park. Right. Because what I'm looking for, like when I get a room, I'm looking for peace and quiet. I don't want nobody talking to me. If I want to watch TV, I'll watch it. But most of the time, I never even cut the TV on because I'm like, nope, I just want it quiet. So I know sometimes I'll be making it sound like I'm always at a hotel. I ain't got that type of money. That ain't the life I lead. So I'm like, usually what it is at their park, and I just try to get myself as close as possible to how I felt when I was able to have a room and have a space where I'm like, okay, I can like lounge in this bed. Okay, well, I can't lounge in the bed, but I can lean this seat back.
Right.
And just enjoy it. Now, I needed to warm up a little bit because I don't like burning gas, keeping the heater running. Right. But when I tell you, when that nice weather hit again, I'm gonna be sitting outside at the park until the bees come out.
Right. And
then when the bees come out, I'm gonna be back in my truck. Right. But just enjoying outside. I'll probably walk more also. I'm still doing some, but it'd be cold and my fingers go numb. And I'm like, I don't like this here. I'm like, I'm trying to work out and have like this moment to clear my head, but it's cold though. Right. So I'm looking forward to nicer weather and being able to get back to doing the walks more frequently, because that eventually became a form of self-care. It initially was not. So if you're a person who you're like, I hate working out, I'll never enjoy it. I mean, you're probably right.
Right.
To be fair, because I still don't really like it. But walking, though, put on a good playlist.
Easy.
This is zone out.
Yeah.
And then it's like you got to work out in without really having to do a whole lot. And I'm always here for not having to do a whole lot.
Yeah.
I like it. But yeah, I think, is there anything else that is like a huge goal? I think for the most part right now, I'm just trying to get through this last semester and exams. So that's taking up like the bulk of my focus. But teaching wise, here's one. To keep the same energy the entire semester, because in the semester, I be like, look, y'all ain't even gotta come. Just turn this in. Right. Don't worry about it. I was like, I'm not gonna cut this thing. Don't worry about it. So that is a goal. I need to make it to the end of the semester with the same energy. Hopefully the energy went, because we start at the end of the month. Hopefully the energy will be here and either in here or be higher. But I'm also teaching at 2 institutions this semester. I'm doing a lot this year. Ooh, already. All right, 2021. We got it though. It's gonna be fine. But yeah, I want to keep the same energy. I definitely want to create more work, but I think it may be in my best interest to not try to take on a lot with that this year. Primarily because I'm working at 2 places. Last semester, then have the written exam is due in April or May. Oral exams are in July. So May and June will just be like studying even harder for that. The teen graduates in May or June, whenever they set the dates. Yeah. Ugh, it's a lot. So maybe to create at least one new word. That sounds not too stressful? Question mark. Actually, it really does sound stressful. And I don't want to create from a space of being stressed about it. Like, I'm going to be stressed about it no matter what, because perfectionist. But yeah. But I also need to stop saying, yeah, I'm going to do some of this stuff, because I'd be like, I'm tired. I don't have the energy. And I don't want to create work that I'm not proud of.
Right.
So maybe a goal is to be open to creating work, but maybe not on the scale that I am accustomed to for this year.
Right.
And to be okay with it being smaller scale. Which nothing's wrong with that. No, and I think it's always good to create work. Keep the brain working. Yeah. But yeah, maybe that's the goal. I like how that sounds better, because I cannot sit here and say create nothing.
Right.
Because that's kind of how 2020 went, and that was trash as hell. I was done. I was like, I hate this here. And so then what I ended up doing is, first of all, my students had to have thought I was nuts, because the choreography I gave them was like, assuming you can dance, and it's like all beginner level. And I'm like, nope, sorry, I haven't been able to create, so I'm not changing it. Learn it, figure it out, clean it. I don't care. So hopefully I won't torment people this year like that, because I will be okay with taking smaller opportunities to help me get that part out. So then when I'm teaching, I'm not making the poor babies learn choreography that they are not ready for. But that's always been a thing with me. I've always done that. And I'm like,
what? You said chasse.
Like what? Like we
chasse who?
Wait, calypso.
Calypso.
Let me tell you, Chad, I threw in some shoulder stands.
Yeah.
Folks were dying, and I was like, yo, my bad. You weren't ready. Yeah. And what I've learned is I don't like teaching those types of things over video. I don't like that. I was like, oh no, I need to actually see you and fix that.
Right.
So now, am I going to stop putting them in? Of course not. But I am now aware that maybe I need to see if there's another online source I could give them. If there's another way I can break it down, something, because whew, that thing was rough. And I also realized through that how reliant I have always been on being able to physically fix it. Because when I could not and had to talk them through it, I was like, y'all, like I have the words, but it is so much easier to just put your body there. Yeah. So we're just there. And now you can figure out how to get yourself back. That is so much easier than me really explaining it. And I'm like,
yeah.
But it's okay. It's fine. It's okay. But yeah, I think those are my goals for the most part. Yeah. Completely not related to dance. My goal is to get me one of them cars, though. I still want me a Dodge Challenger.
Yes.
If I get it this year, y'all ain't gonna never hit the end of it. I'm gonna record at least one episode up in that jump. Like just to be clear. Just to be clear.
Yes.
Let that happen. Oh. One episode guaranteed is being recorded in the car. For no good reason. Just because I can. So yeah. Alrighty. So I have like people like at my door. Like they be knowing I'm in here doing stuff. This is how my family treats me. It's cool. It's fine. Right. I tell you. Well, on that note, we at Dance Talk Realness once again welcome you to 2021. Yeah, we made it.
We made it.
Say a word because child, roughness. We again wish everyone out there a happy new year. We hope that all of your dance goals are achieved. We hope all of ours are too. And we think everyone should add authentic self-care and being more comfortable with saying no to theirs.
Yes.
Everyone should just add that. Just go ahead, put that on your list if it wasn't already there. And because it connects to dance too. Mm-hmm. It connects. And it connects to just you being a whole person.
Yes.
Which is important.
It is.
All right. You all stay safe out there. If you have any questions, comments, observations, new topic ideas that you want to send our way, please feel free to do so. We look forward to bringing you some fresh new content next week. We'll see you then. Bye.